you for joining us, everybody. This is Girls Only Sports. We're here with a special episode. This is our Ohio High School girls basketball show that we're going to be doing on our podcast. As always, I am Candace Allen. I'm here with the familiar and the famous Tanisha Benson and Angie Saiter. Welcome to the show. Our second season. We're going to try to do these episodes maybe once a month until the tournament starts so we can get you some coverage on all things Ohio High School girls basketball. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I would say TikTok, but we'll see if it gets banned or not.
That part.
Follow us on X, wherever you can podcast as well, Apple, Spotify. Be sure to listen and tune in. We'll shout you guys out. But we're going to get right into it. Again, this is our Ohio High School girls basketball preview show. We're just going to go over some of the top teams and players. But first, we want to start off by talking about the new-ish situation that happened in Ohio as it relates to divisions. So this year, starting in the 2024-2025 season, there will be 7 divisions. No longer will there be 4. It is 7 divisions that affects most of the sports, but in reference to the sport we're talking about is girls basketball, it's going to be a major change for a lot of teams. So I think it was 64 teams that with the largest enrollment are in Division 1, and then the next 64 was in Division 2, and then it was split thereafter in terms of enrollment 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seems like a lot. So I'm going to lay the first question out to my experts. What do you guys think about the divisions? Do you think it was needed? How is it going to change things? I mean, you guys have been following girls basketball for a long time. So what do you think about this new division expansion?
I like it. I think it's good. I think that more of the players needed to have visibility in our state. And you're able to do that with the 7 divisions. I mean, there are small schools that like really work hard. And there's girls that really play hard. And they've built a really good team. But then there's this kind of imbalance of talent when you move things around. And so those smaller schools not having an opportunity to win a state championship. I mean, there's quite a few schools in Ohio that have never seen regionals, let alone the state championship. So to be able to kind of bring that to their schools, I think it just creates a little bit more balance across the board. Let the Division 1 fight, Division 2 fight. Then when you get down to Division 7, that's like, I don't know, all girls schools.
Right. But Division 7 got a monster down there. So I don't know. A lot of teams may not be too
they're not going to win either.
Yeah.
Them teams ain't going to win either. So you hopefully get a better chance. But truth be told, you probably ain't going to win.
Right. What about you, Angie?
I like it.
I'm with Benson on that. I mean, and I'll be real, as a former player, and again, I always had that dream of like, yeah, maybe we could beat Pickerington that was ranked number 1 in the country, but it probably wasn't going to happen. But, but given the fact that there are 7 divisions, it does give other teams more chances to have a chance to go further in the tournament. And I think that's good. I do. I think that's good. I think this is something new, something different. 4 divisions is all I've ever known.
Back.
Like my entire life is all that's all I've ever known for Ohio basketball. So, I think it's something new, something different. And I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes this year. So I'm cool. I'm cool with it. Yeah. I'm good with that. I think it'll be neat.
I'm cool with it too, to a degree. I guess change is just hard when you're so used to the 4 divisions, like you just said. That's all we've ever known. And when people say 7, it's like, well, how does this work? And then which school goes where? And then, we know some of the top teams and how they move. And it's like, well, nothing's really going to change for them. But, selfishly, I would like to see some of the teams that are in a D3 or D2 move up to D1. So, but I get it, competitive balance. And like you said, a lot of those smaller schools travel way better than a lot of the bigger schools. So we should see a lot of activity because now, a lot of the games are going to be at the fairgrounds this year. So
Yeah.
we'll get some Central Ohio movement and get to see some teams we haven't. So I guess I'm in the middle,
Yep.
I mean, let's call it what it is. It will make a little bit of money.
A little bit of money. But
I mean, let's be honest. Them
Yeah.
smaller schools are bringing fans.
right. For
We're
sure.
not gonna not say that on, we're not gonna not say that on the show today. We're gonna say it. The smaller schools are bringing fans. They're
Right.
bringing the whole town. Everybody coming.
Yeah.
Right.
That completely changes the economics of the state as far as forget the other sports because they get some financial gains as well.
For sure.
But just in our game alone, it really does increase the value and the money that will be made and produced. I'm hopeful that we will see it invested back
Mhm.
into our sports
Right.
as it increases, and we know that it should help. I want to see how it's going to really return back to the schools and the
Right.
players. Like we're talking about, we can't even afford shot clocks.
Uh-oh.
Well, we can now. We should be able to afford them now. You see what I'm saying? So
What are you letting stuff slip? Are we introducing the shot clock in Ohio?
I hope we do. For the love
Bring
of
it.
God, Lord,
Please.
if you are listening,
Oh, not Angie co-signing.
please.
You guys
Oh, I'm
wanna
all
see
about it.
shot clocks in Ohio girls
Yes,
basketball.
yes.
This whole bringing out the ball with 5 minutes left to go in the game.
You ain't for that.
please.
Girl, it's the
No,
it's
shoot,
the
no,
it's
I'm
the
not for
dribble.
that.
It's
Play
the
the
dribble
flipping
weed.
daggone basketball game. No, we're not bringing out the daggone basketball. You're going to take the ball up the court and let's go.
I'm with
We're,
that.
we're going to play.
It's the dribble weave handoff for me.
I'm not doing that. We're not
for
playing
4
Hoosiers
minutes.
here.
For 4 minutes. For 4 minutes.
Breaking news: Girls Only Sports with Benson and Angie. We want shot clock in Ohio girls basketball. We want to see.
Yeah.
We want to see it.
Yeah.
I'm with that too. Don't get me to lying.
Please.
I'm all about the action, and
Angie said, please.
I had one game back in high school, not to bring up old stuff, where a team stalled the ball for almost 3.5 quarters. And when I say stalled, they did not do anything. We just stood there for 3.5 quarters.
Yeah, and ain't nobody coming out their zone.
No.
So at the end of the day,
No.
but I think a lot of those records could be broken because of the shot clock,
For
because of
sure.
those possessions.
Yeah.
Because we done had the same bleeders up. Some of them, have y'all looked at the records? Some of the records are never gonna get broken. You should not have 3,000 assists in your career.
We just need somebody just to massage their stats for 4 years. That's it. But like you said, a
Why you
shot
got
clock,
5,000 blocks?
a shot clock can. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Like somebody please beat these records,
Right.
so that we can give some other awards away. Because
Right.
it's some people in there when it say literally 1872 on some of these records.
If we're going to increase the
1872?
amount of state champions, we need to increase the opportunities for players to break some state records, especially in basketball. I'm with that logic. I'm following you.
1872.
I mean, y'all can start breaking my records anytime you want. Sorry.
I
That
didn't
wasn't
get none
right.
of them.
That
I
wasn't right.
had high school records.
Okay.
I didn't
So
have
I-
open.
Really? Yeah, it's okay.
I didn't either. But that was our little breakdown. So yes, 7 divisions this year. We'll see how it all plays out. We're obviously rooting for a successful tournament, and we hope all the teams have an excellent season. But it's new, so it's going to take some time. So now we're going to get into just some breakdowns of some of the top teams and players that we've seen starting out this season. It's still very, very early, so forgive us, teams, coaches, parents, anybody tuning in. Don't hold it to our hearts. This is just, we haven't been able to travel out as much. The season has just started. We're going to try to get out there. But just what we've seen so far, some of the players and teams. And we'll start with the big dogs in Division I. So I know we have a local one, Pickerington Central, who's always in the mix. They've been to the last 2 Final Fours. So we'll start with them. What do you see in Division I and Pick Central as we are centrally located?
Yeah, Pick Central is definitely going to be up there for sure. For sure. You've got Mason. You've got Princeton that's going to be in there. You got Springboro, Mount Notre Dame. They look really good. Magnificat that's up north that have had a really good season.
Hey, UA's looking tough.
Upper Arlington, that's
UA.
what I was gonna say. Yeah, I heard that they're
Yeah.
looking pretty good.
They're looking real good.
Yeah, I think those are some of them.
Did you say Olentangy?
No, but I believe they are. Are they Division One?
They're Division One. I would like to see how it's still early in the season. They had a big transfer leave out. Just how they're going to be able to gel. That's a lot of talent that walked out the door.
Which I know that UA did beat them.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
They did. They did. A lot of foul calls.
But I don't know. I don't know, just given the fact that I do watch a lot of Central Ohio ball. There's something to be said about both of those teams that I mentioned. And I don't know. I like both of them. I know that Olentangy looks a little different. I understand that, but they have a lot of weapons.
For sure.
They have a lot of shooters.
For sure.
They have a lot of speed. And I don't know. And they have a few freshmen that have no fear. And I like that.
Right.
There's just something about diaper dandies that hold true to my heart. And I love that. Yeah, I love yeah, I really like that a lot. So
any players out of D1 you guys seen so far that we should all keep an eye on? I know one of your diaper dandies last year out of Pick Central was Zoe.
Yeah, Coleman looks good. Yeah, Coleman looks good. She's gonna do fine. I think Princeton has Aaron Thomas, top 25 in the country. Springboro is a little older, which you gotta love that because Division One has such a good mix. Right. But to me, when I look at Division One, they're really old. Like they've got a lot of the more mature players that are coming out of Division One, and I think that's where that battle is so about strategy and who's going to show up and play and who's going to be able to make those adjustments the quicker. That's going to be Division One because you've got so much history in those teams. Whereas the other divisions, they're going to try to have to figure that out.
Right.
Haven't had to do that against these powerhouse teams.
Right.
But I'm trying to think who else out of.
Let me shout out UA's Elizabeth Hunt. She had a really good showing at the
Hunt. Yeah.
Just worked.
She's tough.
She just worked.
She is tough.
She's tough.
You can't knock somebody who got a motor. You know what I mean? And she's that for UA, and you can tell. She mentioned it after the game during the interview how they wanted to get this game, and it's so exciting to see that competitive spirit so early. That was like, y'all got us last year in the tournament. We're not there yet, but please know we're here. You know what I mean?
And we took note of it. And we took note of it.
Right. So I appreciated that attitude so early in the season. So shout out to Elizabeth. But those are some of the teams in D1. Let's move on to D2. These are some of the teams that maybe had some changes. Some of these teams were probably in D1 last year, now that are now in D2. Big Walnut happens to be in D2 this year. Witten Woods, who started out the season, I believe they're undefeated at least. Don't let me underestimate their record. What are some other teams that you said? Olmsted Falls, who won the championship. They won the D1 championship last year, didn't they?
They did.
And now they're in Division 2.
Yeah.
And forgive me, Coach.
South.
Forgive me. Oh, real quick. Forgive me, Coach. I'm gonna get your interview up. You and your son. I just have to find it. I apologize. You know you're one of my favorite coaches, Coach Eden. I got you.
Shout out to Coach.
Shout out.
Okay. 1 year later, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. History is history.
We got it.
Be documented. We got it.
Anthony Wayne.
Wayne.
Westerville South.
Westerville South. Okay, another.
I don't think you can dismiss them. I mean, you named the two big ones that I think it's gonna go down to. Big Walnut and Witten Woods. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna see each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As states. Yes.
And Sydney, she looks tough. Like, she's expanding her game a little bit. We saw her I don't want to press that we see big shooting threes, but I just like them operating more in the mid range. She's getting a little bit more post moves working, so she looks to be a sophomore, and I have to keep reiterating how young she is. Some of the steps she's taken, I think they'll do well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She's happy there. She's got the freedom that she, with the type of game that she has. I think she's built so many skills, not just from the interior, but as well as, on the perimeter.
Mhm.
And so her ability to showcase those in a team that, she's, really happy to be with, it makes a player look good.
Mhm.
And when she already has the skill sets, it's just showing it. That's all. Right.
Yeah. I do like Anthony Wayne. I think they've got a lot. And yeah, Wenton Woods is just,
They're tough.
I love that coach, man. I've said it before, but man, all he'd have to say is just about 5 words to me, and I'd run through a brick wall for him. And I just would. But he's got speed. Their defense is just, I mean, they just flat out get after it, and they're tough. But yeah, and Westerville South and what your main guys, I love that man too. I've known him for many years, and he is a coach that is a master of just squeezing every bit of anything out of every player, and they buy into it. They buy into what he says.
For sure.
So but they have to have more than peanut. And that's the key.
Yeah,
They have to have more than peanut.
That's right.
So
And gotta mention the freshmen, since we were talking about the babies, out of Winton Woods, Strawberry, top 25 player, of course, in the state. She's unbelievable. She's so talented.
yeah, she is.
She's very talented and very mature for her age. And so I think it's gonna come down. I really do. We're gonna see these names in the finals for sure.
Right.
Yep.
So that was Division 2. Let's move on. We got 7 divisions.
Oh,
So
2 down.
let us stop making jokes. Let me stop making jokes. So one of the more interesting divisions as things start to get split is Division 3. We have our 3-time back-to-back state champion in Division 3 who won the D2 championship last year. Who else do you see out of D3, some of the teams, before we talk about a couple of players? Unyoto, we mentioned, who are always fairly tough.
Yeah, you
I
got
think
Brush.
St. Vincent St. Mary's is in D3 this year.
That's right.
Brush.
Hoban's in there. Of course, I gotta
Hoban.
shout out my alma mater.
Hoban's
Yep.
D3.
I think Toledo Rogers. I think they're young, but I think in the next couple years, you're gonna have to talk about them,
Right.
because they're young and they've got some pieces. But I think it's just so hard once you see Purcell Marion. It's just kind of like,
hard.
what are you supposed to do with that? And they're seniors. Now we can talk about them next year when people graduate.
Right.
And they got the, and I know Coach Mosley gonna do his thing. Cool. But right now, we talking about they got rings on this finger, and this finger.
That'll take some research. Have we ever had a team win 4 straight?
I don't think so.
Has
I don't think so.
Afrocentric won 4 straight?
If it is a school that did it, it would be them or Mount Notre Dame.
Okay.
M&D.
Yeah.
That'll take some
Them would be the two.
research to
I
do,
know
yeah.
Pick Central hasn't done it,
Mhm.
but
I don't think Pick
won
Central
a lot.
has.
And I know Highland.
Highland
I know
may.
Highland has it.
They haven't.
Highland has not.
Because Highland was running.
I don't know if anybody has. That might be a record.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look in that. But like you said, Purcell, the talent that they have, obviously the head of all that is D. Alexander, committed to University of Cincinnati.
Woo, woo.
So staying local. What a career. We've been probably covering her for almost
little.
since you guys since you was little. I think I came in covering girls basketball in Ohio her freshman year, and
Mhm.
to be here and to see, 3 championships later, 3 Miss Basketballs later, what she's been able to do. Kier and Sierra Miller, can't forget about them. They're just, I mean, you couldn't ask for 2 better point guards to,
They're
I
dynamite. They are
might
just
like,
dynamite.
just
And the cutest
shooters,
little things.
competitors. I mean, they're the kind of kids you would want on your team just to get
Oh
everybody
yeah,
rolling. Like when they get hyped and lit, especially on the and one, like you can't stop them. And
they compete. They
yeah,
really show the heart of what girls basketball should be. And
mhm,
I hope a lot of players before they graduate, and they know this, that take note of what it looks like to lead this state as far as from a competitive view. I think a
Mm.
lot of times our players can be sometimes too comfortable and too, just nonchalant.
mhm.
I'm just out here playing. Them girls, every time they hit the floor, I don't care who it's against. I don't care if it's a 50-point blowout.
Mhm.
You're going to get the same thing every time.
For
They're
sure.
going to hold their team accountable every time. And they've came through when Dee kind of had her struggles
Mhm.
or just was kind of, in foul trouble or just, what I mean? Just kind of, Dee carries a lot on her shoulders outside of the court. I hope players watch those two
Mhm.
because they're
Yeah.
defying a lot of
Yeah.
odds. It doesn't matter how small they are.
Right.
It doesn't matter their position. It doesn't matter that there's 2 of them that look identical. Okay, because they do look identical. You
Right.
can't tell one
And
from the other.
those are 3, they're they're championship winning point guards. Like you don't win those championships without them, as much as, all
No,
credit to Dee being the player that she is. But there's something special about those 2 as well.
that's
And
right.
them being able to keep it all together and understanding that if we got Coach Mosley on the show again, how hard it is just to get kids to buy
That's
in
right. That's
year
right.
after
Right.
year. The success is what it is. You know, the expectations, all the pressure, like you said, we mentioned Afrocentric, we mentioned Highland, those kind of teams and schools are used to a certain standard, and to be able to do it now on the cusp of possibly winning 4 straight, shout out to them. And shout out to every other team in the division who has to look up for them. But a couple of players to mention outside of Purcell, I did want to shout out Miley Smith and Maya Hamilton from Unyoto. Those 2
Yep.
young ladies work. I saw them play.
They do.
Maya is just, I mean, people will get it when I say it. She's a dog. She just does what needs to be done. And Miley's so smooth. I do want Miley to be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's so smooth with it. I think she has something in her where she can take over games. But she's such a unselfish player that I think she waits for her spaces to take over. But I'm like, sis, you got game to take over. So, if you need to step your foot out there, go ahead and make some moves. Because she has all the skill in the world. Anybody else you guys
Yep.
see in D3?
You were talking about Brush
Oh,
earlier. I love Tatiana
Mason,
Mason and the Isaacs girl
Shania.
McDowell.
She is
Yeah,
she been there
golly,
since 2nd grade. Seriously.
both of them, my land. They are just
And the baby Mason.
baby
Nani, she's
Mason.
doing good. She's doing really good. And they're sweethearts, but they compete hard. Like brushes
Yeah.
don't cause a lot of problems. Again, they're babies.
Mhm.
So you gotta
Mhm.
remember it when Purcell has to reload, a lot of these teams are like, we're gonna let y'all do y'all, but trust and believe.
Yep. Yep.
They are.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
I believe it. There's a couple other teams that I kind of want to give
For
shout
sure.
outs
For
to.
sure.
And like I said, these teams may not, and I don't want to say this in a negative. I'm not trying to throw them out of the loop when I say this, but they made runs last year. I just had their name, Independence, out of Columbus.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, they have
They're
a
tough.
couple sisters. Their names
Mhm.
are on the tip of my tongue.
Yep.
The one was a freshman, the other sister was a junior.
Mhm.
That's right.
Help me. This is brain fog. It'll come to me.
No, I know.
I'm
Yep.
trying to look up the name right now. Oh, she was a freshman guard. I'm telling you, the girl can dance with the basketball, and she can't be more than 5'5", but it doesn't matter because she'll jump up over you. I'm gonna find her name. Hang on.
Yep, they put me on to her a couple last
What
year.
is her daggone
You
name?
know, one of the hardest things is, we need a mechanism to locate updated rosters in girls basketball in Ohio, but
And I don't think I have it. I think she's got to be a 2027.
but
She
if we
is.
find it, I'll put her nameplate underneath. So
Okay,
yeah.
I promise. I'm going to find her, and if it's by the end of this, or wait, is it Centennial? It's
It's
Centennial.
Centennial.
It's Centennial. Kennedy Houston.
Kennedy Houston. Okay.
Kennedy Houston.
Independence is tough too. They've got
Independence
some
is
players.
tough also.
Yeah.
And there is somebody out of Independence.
Mm-hmm.
I'll think of that here in a half second. I'll think of it here. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I'm
no,
gonna
don't apologize. When you're an encyclopedia, you just got to get to the page.
I'm
We're
gonna
not
blame my
knocking it.
40,
Okay.
almost 49-year-old brain on this, but it's both of the Houston girls that are outstanding, that I really, really like a lot. Granville, I feel like they always have, like they're always
yeah.
producing,
That's a good one.
like LCL baby. Bishop Hartley. I think they've got. I think Bishop Hartley's got a diaper dandy.
She's a freshman.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah. Point
It's
guard.
gonna come.
Point guard. She's tough.
Wait, please hold. Wait a minute.
Feel free.
It's coming. It's coming.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, please be there. Please. Please. Burnett. Someone by the last name Naomi Burnett. She's one of them, but there's another one. There's another one. Point guard.
This is when we need an on-site researcher. We're gonna work up to get one of those.
Come on. Oh,
Yep.
Angie, don't fail me now. Don't fail me. I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, if you find it by the end, we can shout them out. But
Don't
that's
you
just
worry. Keep on
looking.
talking.
Keep
I
looking.
will find it.
That was some of our D3, and shout out to all those teams and players. I know we mentioned quite a few Purcell a lot, but they're our history makers. So let's go on to D4. Again, these are some of the divisions we're gonna see a lot more movement in terms of teams just because of all the breakdown. So who are some of the teams you guys see in D4? One of the teams that stuck out just from their history is Kettering Alter is in D4 this year.
That's right. Yeah, and they're tough. That's a team that knows how to win, and it doesn't matter if they have a ton of talent or a little. There's just a standard that they're going to hold, and that's a team that you really can't count out. I think with the loss of, obviously, Laurel is in Division 4, and it's tough when you're missing. I thought I could be wrong, but the number one player in the country who so happened to be from Ohio,
right?
In Saiter Hall.
Made things a little different last year.
Yeah,
this is a special talent.
But they've had some players with Tristan there, and so I don't think. And again, they had that experience of being at the state tournament, so I think that they could put some things together. I wouldn't say Streetsboro, but I would say Naomi Benson can come out and really shake some things, especially with the divisions being down. That's the difference, is that some of these divisions you can win with one player. I recall Zaya Cook winning a whole state championship by herself.
I do recall that.
No knock on the rest of them players. Them players did play on her team. But when the show needed to start, and she carried that team as far as points and making plays, she did. So we'll see that the difference between the Division 1, 2, and 3, that as we get to 4, 5, 6, 7, that if you have a dynamic player, one or two, you really got an opportunity to really shake some things up because of the division change and the lack of star power that's coming up from those top divisions. So I put Streetsboro on it because
Mhm.
it's not too many people that can deal with Naomi.
Right.
Yep.
Size wise.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what's the average size of Division 4? It is smaller than Naomi.
True.
Mm,
Throw it
True.
up there. Let her catch it.
yeah.
But like we said earlier, these are going to be the divisions, like you said, where we're going to see some teams that haven't been able to get to states, start making a name
Yeah.
for themselves, and we'll probably see some players that we haven't. There's always a chance now we'll see some players in schools that we haven't been able to keep an eye on just because of everything stuck in the 4 divisions. We'll see a couple of them pop out. So that's we finding the beauty in the 7 divisions.
Yeah,
Yep.
we are. Slowly but surely.
How about you,
Hey,
Angie?
real quick,
Uh-huh.
pause for a half second.
Okay.
Back to Division 3. Myra Mullins. That was the girl
It's
from
Mullins. Yep,
Mullins.
that's exactly right.
Mullins.
That's her.
Incredible. Yeah. Wait a minute.
We hear it.
About that now. Back to Division 4.
Mm-hmm.
Who I do like that I think could ruffle some feathers. John Glenn.
Okay.
I like John Glenn. I like John Glenn because they've got some shooters. They can really disrupt some people. I'm not saying that they necessarily go to the Final Four, but you just never know.
Mhm.
You just never know. And I want to give a shout out to hang on. I'm finding it. I like Riley Rominski.
Mhm.
She's a senior. But there's another one. Oh my gosh, why is her name on the tip of my tongue right now? I was just talking about her too on Twitter, and I'm sorry, I always call her. I'll always say Twitter.
Me
Maya
too.
Oliver. Maya Oliver. She is
Yeah.
truly she's who I call the Jay Burson of for girls basketball for John Glenn. She just broke the record for John Glenn.
Okay.
Mm.
See,
For
Benson, we
girls
got some record
basketball.
breakers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, but they've got some shooters. They like to run and gun,
Mhm.
and I'm just saying there are just
They
some
can
there's
make
some of
some
those teams
shake.
out there.
Yes.
Yeah,
They
it's anybody's
can shake some
division.
things up, and that's what I love about the tournament. I love that. So, Circleville. Now that they've got that's another team that that they can wait a minute. Circle. And I am so sorry. Basketball roster.
We can hear all of Angie's.
Oh, I know
letters.
you can. You know what? People at school make fun of me because I am a hard typer. I really am. But Maddie Blakeman, like her. But wait a minute. Hold up. Addison, Edgington. I think I'm saying her last name right.
It's
First
good. Yeah,
off,
Eddington.
she wears my number 31. I'm just saying, number 2, that girl has been through so much and
Yeah.
got through an incredible injury,
Mhm.
car accident.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
she's an unbelievable what a story.
Mhm.
But I've got goosebumps just even talking about her, but what an inspiration eh, that she's been to me and to a lot of people. But
Right.
she's remember them because I think I don't know. I'm just saying there's some people out there that we'll just see. We'll just see.
I like that.
It's
Yep.
over.
Yep.
So let's keep it moving. We got a couple more divisions to go. Now, our first new division, Division 5. But fortunately for us, we have a namesake, one of the most famous teams in the state.
That's right.
Afrocentric is going to be in Division 5 this year. How do not to isolate them, but similarly, they're back-to-back champs. We know they had a lot of changes, just a lot of seniors graduated, headed to D1 schools.
Right.
But they are who they are. They play an incredibly tough schedule. Coach Jadisha always does that to
Always.
prepare her players for state.
Always.
So they're not playing, the competition they'll see during the regular season is probably the hardest competition they'll see all year, even in the state tournament. But how do you guys see their season shaking out now that they're in Division 5?
I think it's going to be just as similar as what we've seen in the past, is because they've already have this ingredient and this algorithm of success. Janisha is not going to change that. It doesn't matter what the division says. It doesn't matter who they're playing.
For sure.
She does not care. She is going to keep that algorithm because it works. And it gets the best out of her players, which is her ultimate goal. She wants to get her players prepared for college and get the most out of them in their high school experience in 4 years. That's what she's going to do.
Right.
So Division 5, just similar to Purcell Marion, it's theirs to lose. There is no, I know Portsmouth is in there.
Portsmouth, Fairland.
And
I was just going to
Fairland in there. Tri-Village is in there. Don't get me wrong. They in there. But Afrocentric is tough.
They come
may
with a
not
different
have-
swag too. Like
They
when
may
you
not have that name or like how they normally have. Like we know we got Bowers there, all that.
right.
Cool. But the standard of Afrocentric basketball
For sure.
is coming
Right.
on the scene.
Right.
Period. And if you think it's not,
Right. The name is the name.
Good
Right.
luck. Yeah, it's theirs to lose. I mean,
Right.
don't get me wrong. Now I could see Afrocentric and Portsmouth being in the championship, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be sitting there with my popcorn like this.
It is December. Why you in March?
I don't know
I'm
now.
telling you, that would be the matchup of the matchup of the matchup for the whole year. Them two together.
Mm.
I could see.
Angie, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't
I'm
you
going
do
to.
it.
I'm going to say it.
Okay, go ahead.
I could see Fairland making it.
I could see Fairland making it too, but that will leave who? If it's a Final Four, you talking about in the final?
This
Yes.
is Division 5.
In the Final Four or the last game? Because again, Fairland, I agree, in the Final Four, yes, but the last game, Fairland beating Afrocentric.
They starting off strong this year.
They beating Afrocentric. Last I checked, every last state championship I done seen Afrocentric in, it's been a track meet.
Oh,
And I ain't
facts.
seen nobody
Facts.
slow that down.
Facts.
Because at the end of the day, you have to have the athletes to do it.
Yeah.
That's what makes it hard. Division 5?
Yeah.
Y'all, we can't name but 6 teams. We can't name but 6
Don't
teams.
call us out. Don't call us out like that. It just took a minute to go through the spreadsheets. It's all new to us too.
And
I mean-
I think there's gonna be some teams that will show up that we
Mhm.
haven't seen because they've been hidden in 4 divisions 100%. But I am not putting my money against Afrocentric
I'm with you.
at all.
I'm with you.
I love Don't get me wrong now.
Portsmouth and Fairland look
I
tough.
do. Yeah, I do. I love
But-
them.
Off Columbus alone, but just off standard alone, there's just an expectation that comes with it. And especially being Division 5.
And experience.
Yeah.
You can't.
I know.
Some of them kids don't even know what to do in that.
I know.
Okay,
And
Angie.
Janiyah Bowers as a freshman already, she's a junior now. She already has 2 state championships.
You're true. That's right.
As a
And she's getting
freshman.
a whole extra because she was injured. So
Okay.
now she coming back. She got 2 more months to get ready. And it
Yeah.
ain't like the team ain't even playing hard or like they're not, like they're gaining. All those girls on that team have state championship experience.
Mhm.
Okay, but
Fairland was in
So
state last
does-
year as well.
They did.
so does Russell. So does
Portsmouth was there.
so
Portsmouth
Yes.
was there.
Yes.
Terry, don't be doing them balloons.
How did
during
I
the
get
show.
those balloons? Where that?
How the
Hold up.
balloons come in?
Where?
I don't know. Angie figured something out we didn't.
I think Division 5, I think if you look at it, the odd numbers of the divisions is where it's at. Division 1,
I may have to
Division
argue
3.
on Division 7 though.
Division 5. And if Division 7 turn out to how we think it's gonna be, it's the year of the odds.
Okay, and now I'm following you. I'm with that logic. Okay, now I'm following.
I
you.
might have to buy. I might have to bet a coffee on this.
Okay, we got a coffee bet
Okay.
on Division 5. So shout out to those teams.
Woo, woo.
Let's move to Division 6.
Harvest
Again,
Prep.
Okay.
Harvest Prep looks good.
Yep.
They're playing a tough schedule. I think they have some teams. They play some D1 schools. So about time, the type of talent again that they'll see in Division 6 is going to be nothing compared to what they probably face throughout their regular season.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah. I can see Harvest Prep. I definitely see them in the Final Four. It's going to be the preparation that they do to not make that moment too big for them. Because they're still young. They're young and they've been grinding at getting there
For sure.
for so long. That's tough. Who else I like?
Wait, hold up. Division 6?
Mm-hmm.
Western Reserve?
I saw that on there. Wait a minute, Angie. I wasn't gonna say anything because I saw that on there because last I checked, no, we on air.
Okay.
We may have to
listen. If Western Reserve is Division 6, I'm telling you, they are good. They will
they're
win
real good.
all.
Am I looking at that right?
I saw Western Reserve too, but I didn't want to say nothing because I was gonna call OSHA and say,
Well,
"Is
I'm
this
saying
really real?"
something. Are
So-
you kidding?
That's another team you should have in the Final Four.
No, ain't no Final Four. No, it's done.
You
Ain't
talking
no
about
having them on no Final Four. I having them in the final.
Yeah, no, I have them winning it. You might as well just give it to them now.
Oh,
They're
so
that good.
add this one to your odds list, Division 6.
No,
I mean,
it's already done.
I-
It ain't. No, I'm telling you. When I meet
is there another Western Reserve in Ohio that I don't know about?
That's
trying
what
to
I
think here.
said. I'll call OSHA because I said I wasn't gonna say nothing because I'm like, if Western Reserve got approved under OSHA and they Division 6, listen.
What?
I'm telling you, it is. They are that good.
Wow.
Oh, I
Like,
know.
I'm talking about Division 1.
Really?
Yes.
This is a prep school. They got players. This ain't no.
I don't know. We may
In
need to
Brooklyn Hall.
uh-huh.
How she looking?
Right.
What we doing?
Like, girl-
Maya Nahar? Like what we talking? Bro,
Children, I'm speechless right now. That's how good they are.
I wasn't gonna say nothing because I said let me check first. Because if that's what
Well-
I think it say,
In
I'm
Division
telling
6.
you, it's done.
It's a
It's
wrap.
done. It's right. Yeah, you might as well just go ahead and give them the
I
trophy.
don't know. This
Seriously.
is probably the first time I've seen Angie speechless.
No,
but
it is that big of a deal because you
I'm
got to
catching
remember.
flies.
There
Okay.
hasn't really been any prep school that has been, I know we get off subject, but really going through that approval process with OSHA. That changes a lot because now you're having conversations with Spire. You've got international players that are coming from all over the world to that school.
Oh,
That ain't going.
my.
Woo, that's a problem. I'm serious. Like
I'm dead
it would be bad. It would be embarrassing. It would really be embarrassing as far as like there's nobody that can compete. They're huge.
Mhm.
They're like they look like a college team.
Wow.
Like they are good.
So
good.
on our next show, put a pin in Western Reserve. We're gonna have to address this.
We
That
might
can
as well just
be-
get Thomas on the show. We might as well get Thomas on the show. Hey Thomas,
Right.
you want to come on the show? Tell us what happened. What y'all
Right.
do?
This is a conversation starter just to see how all of this breaks down, especially, with 7 divisions and prep schools now being involved, how that changed some things, especially when we've had we've talked earlier about smaller schools getting the opportunities. And a team that can
not
potentially be loaded with talent making some things shake. It could get a little sketchy.
no, that's bad. I don't think you understand. It's that bad. Like
I mean,
like they should be Division 1. They're that good.
Okay.
And so now you brings a whole nother can of what I don't think we are really prepared for because that process is totally different than open enrollment. It's not that. Like you're talking about literally recruiting
Right.
players from all over the world, not Ohio, the world. They budget look totally different. What are we talking about? Like that ain't And then, one of their best players being from Ohio,
For sure.
Brooklyn Hall, she is a problem. She been a
Oh.
problem, but she really, listen, she done took everything everybody done said or didn't say about her, and trust me, she wrote it down. She wrote it down because the girl not playing
I
at
mean,
all.
she's like
Tipping the
double
ball in.
trouble machine. You can triple team her and it doesn't matter. Like you've got the Moore girl that's a 6 foot and
They're big.
Now we talking 6 foot in Division 6.
I
Listen,
mean, you got
we're
that
talking about
Jordan, I can't even pronounce their last names.
yeah,
Jordan Steinel.
yeah. They got
I'm
like
so
4 or
sorry if I'm
5 Division 1 Power 5.
if
I don't think as far as like if we're comparing roster to
Mhm.
every roster in the state,
Mhm.
they probably have the most Division 1 players on their roster.
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it ain't even close. And they
Wow.
play. Thomas got them playing like college players, like
Mhm.
the system, how they run the offense. Afrocentric runs a college offense as well, but
But this,
they used
like
the shot clock. They
that Paris girl, Paris Matthias.
she cold. I'm not
She
kidding. They
hot.
got at least
Right.
5. They got at least 5. If we came
Wow.
out with a list of top 50 programs in the country, they in the top 50.
The 6'4" girl that like I
Nahar,
mean when she
Nahar.
when she
What you
blocks
gonna
like
do with her?
the blocks go into a different area code zone. Like it's like she'll take the block and it'll go from like Licking County to like Fairfield County.
Her scream, bro. Her screams are like, what are we doing?
I
Okay.
don't know. Now that you guys are talking in my head, I'm like, since we got 7 divisions, we just may need to say the state champ's going to have to do another playoff to see who is the Ohio
So-
champion.
So we
Especially if we're
already know
talking-
the team that would give them the most trouble, honestly, would be Purcell.
Uh-huh.
But we already know we put Purcell. They're in the top 25 in the country,
Right.
not in Ohio. Top 25 in the country.
Right.
So if there's a team that's going to challenge them, you talking about the 3-time defending champs
Right. Is in Division 6.
in division, and they in Division 6. I know that got to be a typo. It got to be a typo because if it's not a typo, I'm telling you, it's going to change our game. Where we thought the advantage was for these smaller teams to have no. Spire don't have that many students, so they would have to be 6 or 7.
And my
So
classes are
little
fairly
North
new.
Army and no Waterford and no St. Mary of the Hill and no school of the, no, you're not winning when it comes to them.
So we're gonna put a pin in this. We're gonna have to revisit. We're gonna have to
I'm
revisit.
texting
Division 6.
Ocean now.
Yeah, we're gonna
Please.
have to revision Division 6 and Western Reserve being there.
Because I'm not going to sleep well at night until I know this.
Right. Let's move on to our final division. However, in my opinion, I feel the same way about Division 7. How you guys feel about Division 6? But the team that stands out, they were in the Final Four last year, and I believe they were in the final, if I'm not mistaken. But they did win the state championship 2 years ago, and that's Waterford, Kendall Surrey, and I think the Avery Wagner. There's just no answer for her, and now she's expanded her range, and I think the most impressive thing is she's bringing the ball up. Like they use her as let's just call it what it is. She's another big guard. Like she's handling the ball. She's helping breaking their press. She initiates a lot of their offense. And there's, so much you can do. I believe she's 6'5". There's only so much you can do with that height.
Nothing.
And now that she's adding different skills to her game, and her and Kendall's 2-man game, it got to a point there at the battle in the 6-on-4. The game got a little tight for a minute, and they just ran their 2-man game, and it's almost unstoppable. You got to stay honest with Kendall, and then you leave any player. You can't guard Avery one-on-one.
No,
I'm
you
just so
better not.
impressed, yeah, with how they're playing. And again, you can tell the difference about some of these teams who have been there, who have done that. They carry a certain mentality, and they're looking to get back into win again. They won it
Yep.
as freshmen, and they want that taste back. So they're my pick to do some things in Division 7.
I like them, but I'll tell you who I really who I love also
Who
from
you gonna say?
Waterford is Avery Smithberger, number
Mhm.
24.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
I love her.
Mhm.
I love girls that like get their flip and roll,
Right.
and that girl gets it,
She
man.
does all
She
dirty work.
plays. She does the flipping dirty work. She rebounds. She sets screens beautifully. She makes great passes. She is always in the lane, clogging it up. She makes things click offensively and defensively. She is going to be a massive key factor to them getting back and winning a state title.
For sure.
The end. That's how big of a role she plays. Goosebumps. Look at that. You see those goosebumps?
They are
That's
there.
how excited I get
What
when I
about?
talk
Okay,
about a
so
kid
wait,
like
I
that.
did get news about Division 6.
Okay.
Not the point. We'll get to it. Fort Laramie is in Division 7.
Fort Lawrence, they won last year.
Talk about it. Go. Let's double check. Did it say
Oh.
Fort Laramie? Do you see Fort Laramie?
Oh.
Yes, you
Oh.
did.
Because
Look.
I ain't going against Coach Carly.
Listen.
No, I ain't. No, I ain't. Not Coach Carly. Nope.
I don't know. I think didn't they beat Waterford, didn't they?
Oh, flip.
If I'm
I
not
wanna
mistaken.
say, yeah, I ain't going up against no Fort Laramie. Ain't happening.
Oh,
I'm
It's
all for
done.
getting revenge.
Wait,
I would have to look
hold
and
up.
go back.
Didn't they graduate a couple kids?
Not enough. They didn't graduate the coach. And I'm going with her every time.
Nah,
I took a
no.
suck with her
Waterford's
because she
hungry.
that good.
Yeah, she is.
If there's a
Waterford's hungry.
matchup, I think
It's gonna be that.
It's gonna be that. It's gonna be that. It's gonna be
Okay.
that.
So you ready for the Division 6 update?
Yeah, let's get the
Yes.
Division 6 update.
It's not Western Reserve.
Okay.
They are not in Ocean. I was about to say, Lord,
Not
today.
y'all went all on a tangent on the team that's not in Division 6.
Hey, listen, I was panicking. I don't think you understand.
Now we went around the world. Now since we're on the subject, and this is how we can close out our show since you brought it up. And thank you both for sharing all your knowledge. Again, parents, teams, players, anybody. These are just some of the teams that we saw shake out early in the season. We're going to be keeping an eye on. Obviously, we're going to record more as the tournament starts, just to update you guys, give you, our opinions on what's shaking in Ohio girls basketball. But I want to go back to what Benson brought up about prep schools and how our divisions are breaking down. Now that we know this Western Reserve team that you guys were speaking about isn't in Division 6, how do you see that shaking out? Because, at some point, they won't have prep schools entering it. Okay.
Which is what I thought it would be. And
Okay.
I think that's fair. I think there's just a different advantage. Like we're talking about prep schools versus traditional high schools. OSHA
Right.
is for traditional high schools. Prep, that is a totally different lane. It's a totally different environment. The rules are different. And how they go about student athletes is very different as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just predicated on what the parent and the kid want for their kids, athletic development, as well as athletically. Western Reserve is a beautiful school, high academic school, one of the best in the country. But when it comes to athletically, that would be a huge disadvantage for our traditional high schools. And I think it would completely rip up the structure that we have. And I think it really honestly goes against the 7 division model that we're trying to do, which is inclusiveness of more players and balance. That does not help that at all.
Okay.
So I don't see them doing it. I've never heard them doing it. That's why I kind of panicked a little bit.
I mean, Angie went silent, and then you went.
No, it would have been bad. It would have been. It would have been
straight.
bad.
This team can win Division 1.
No, really, it would have been bad. I'm telling you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't mean for my heart to kind of stop for a moment. but I think it did.
Yeah. So I don't see us going there. We
Okay.
do have some really good prep schools that I think student athletes in Ohio will start to consider.
Mhm.
Obviously, we lost Anaya Hall.
Mhm.
I not lost her, but it's a great opportunity for her. She's at Montford
Mhm.
Academy in Florida, doing an amazing job and having a national platform,
Mhm.
which she needed. So I see a lot of our players, hopefully move into that side. Nothing against the traditional high school, but sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Not too
prepare
much
you for
because
college.
one of my gripes is understanding the world is different, but I sure do miss the days where there were more local schools, local public schools, high schools being able to compete. Like coming up, you had your Columbus, Brookhaven was always in the
You
mix.
did.
We
That's
got to
right.
the state at Mifflin a few times. Like there were local schools who were getting, and there were talents. I remember Marcella Packer being at Pickerington, who went on to Ohio
100%.
State.
Oh,
Jessica Davenport was at Independence with Ohio State. Like
That's right.
there's, Eastmore had players. Reese Daniels went to Ohio State.
That's
Like
right.
we had some people, and so I get the new wave of some of the top talent going to transferring to either prep schools. But I'm all for having Uzziah Cook stay local and just making a run with their team to a state championship.
That's
You
right.
know what I mean? I'm a little selfish in that way. Like, and even for D, like I don't know her all of her story, so I don't want to guesstimate on prep schools maybe calling her, but I do appreciate seeing a talent stay, and make a run to be a 4-time state champion and being able to do that kind of thing. So I'm all for the kids staying in the public school in the local schools.
That's right.
We still want to see the
yep.
talent. But
That's
as
Yeah.
always, I thank you both for joining me. Again, you will see our 3 faces throughout the season. If you want to shout us out, push us, players that we don't know, check Angie out. Girls Only Hoops. Follow us everywhere. You can chat us, put your opinions down there. I promise we won't get mad. We're just trying to get a lady some love. If you want to come on for an interview, check us out too. We'll be glad. There's a couple of players that even Angie mentioned that I would love to have on just to hear their stories throughout the season. And again, our coverage is going to go through to our new 7 divisions state champions in March. So stick with us the rest of the season. Once again, this is Tanisha Benson, Angie Saiter. I am Candace Allen. This is Girls Only Sports, and please join us next time.